Namaskar. Hello and welcome to 𝗣𝗚𝘅 channel. I'm your host Sree Iyer. After a while, we are having Sriram Seshadri joining us again, and we're going to be talking about a lot of things, including Karnataka's Jizya tax, as well as what is happening with the coalition politics in Tamil Nadu, and many other things. Let's welcome Sriram Seshadri. Sriram ji, namaskar and welcome to 𝗣𝗚𝘅 channel.
Sir, namaskaram to all the 𝗣𝗚𝘅 viewers.
Sir, Karnataka's Jizya tax. I want to sell both sides of the story here, sir. This was actually introduced in 2011, according to some, and that it was the BJP under 𝗣𝙧𝙤𝘆 which introduced this, and they had a slab of 5% for some particular revenue earners, temples wise, and then that 5% has now been increased to 10%. That's what people are saying, that it is not something that started from the beginning. Your thoughts on this, as well as what rationale was used for this?
Sir, definitely. In fact, that was my point too when we wanted to talk about this Jizya tax, or the tax on Hindu temples alone. So this was introduced in 2011, no doubt about it, when BJP was in power. That is why I want to talk about both BJP and Congress has not been, are on the same plane when it comes to the Hindu religious worship places. Even in Uttarakhand, they brought in BJP when he came to power. They wanted to bring all the temples under the HRNC or their government control. And later on, that bill was withdrawn. In fact, Subramaniam Swamy also, I think, went to court for this particular law when Uttarakhand government passed. And whereas when it comes to Karnataka, the BJP government, when they were in power, they brought this sort of a tax. Even in Tamil Nadu, indirectly, the government is taking all the money, siphoning all the money that is coming from the temples in the way of, administration charges. They don't, actually levy a tax, but Tamil Nadu government takes money for administrative charges, which means, the HRNC officials and other things, but, they just take for doing maintaining the accounts and audit, they actually charge the temples. In Karnataka, they go one step further and then say, any income, net income that is earned is taxed. I just really find it, these are religious places, charitable purposes, and charitable organizations are exempt from tax. They don't actually earn income. They may have receipts more than their payments. So the donations that they receive, they need to do it for certain purposes. As long as they do that, they are not taxed. Charitable institutions are not taxed because that they are not, business entities. Whereas Karnataka government levies a tax. What the 𝗤𝙗𝘆 government has now done is increase the percentage, increase the slab also, but increase the percentage from 5 to 10%. That is what I read in their bill. Eventually, this bill probably will not get passed. That's a different story, because Karnataka government, Karnataka state has one of the states that has an upper house, MLCs, what we call. So most of these bills have to be passed by both the houses. Congress government have majority in the assembly, and MLC, BJP, and JDS together are a majority. So this bill eventually may not get passed. But the controversy that BJP is now bringing in, saying that 𝗤𝙗𝘆 government has levied a Jizya tax, I think that is where my opposition comes to, because BJP government also did this. Only thing is, the amount probably was lesser than this. And whereas any temple earning more than 25 lakhs was brought under the umbrella of this, tax. Whereas now they have increased it to 1 crore and above at 10%, and 10 lakhs and above at 5%. So eventually, government is collecting this tax, and they want to fill the coffers with the donations given by the devotees. But why is no such tax being charged on the churches, mosques, gurudwaras, or any other charitable institutions or the religious institutions? I think this is the pertinent question the common public have to ask. then what happens is, at least stop, donating or stop giving the money. That is what, eventually it will turn out to be, because the devotees are going to get fed up. While the government is saying that all these money are going to be used only for the purposes of, the Hindu religious activities, such as, helping the archakas, or, for the education of the archakas' kids, so on and so forth. But I don't think so. Why, they need to charge the temples to do that? If the government wants, when they can do a free education loan or education to various other people, why is that when it comes to the archakas or when it comes to the religious priests, development or religious priests endowments, they need to charge this money from the temple and then give it? Why not the government give it directly? I think that is a question that public has to ask. So in this case, both nice cartoon, sir. In this case, both the parties, BJP and JDS and Congress, are in the same glove. I think, BJP should have removed this tax when they came to power in 2019 or 20 timeframes. They didn't do that. I think, BJP as a national party should come out with their policy very clear as to say whether we talk about uniform civil code, we talk about everything is going to be common, sabka saath, sabka vikas, sabka vishwas. So which means even in the control of the Hindu religious temples, even in the charging the Hindu religious temples, I think they should either charge none or they should charge at the same rate as every other religious institutions. You cannot be penalizing only one sect of the people. I think that is where the hypocrisy comes, both from the BJP as well as Congress. Even in Tamil Nadu, when I look at it, Sree Iyer-ji, the electricity charges for the Hindu religious temples are at the commercial rate, whereas for the other religious institutions, it is at the slab that prevails for the residential or charitable institutions. So that is the difference. For the majority, there is a significant amount of charges that are being levied, and I think these needs to be corrected. I think that is why I want to bring this topic today, for our people to think about, people to dwell on that. Political parties, when they take a stand, they need to take the stand without any hypocritical attitude. I think that was the point that I wanted to talk about. And mainly Karnataka government, because their coffers are empty, they made tall promises of 5 guarantees that they made. They won the election, and the 5 guarantees are not being met as they promised. And for the purpose of meeting these promises, at least before the general elections, Karnataka government brought this sort of a taxation on the Hindu religious temples. Of course, their collections are going to increase multifold, at least twice the collection that has been that they have been having in the past. I think, when I go through the statistics, there are about few hundred temples, 340 odd temples come under this 1 crore and above. So which means, significant amount of money that are going to be collected because of this. And this is not needed for this, collecting a tax is not a state government's responsibility. Income tax is a central government's responsibility. But, state government levying a tax on the net income, I think it is unheard of. I think this has to be taken to the courts and then to be removed. Fortunately, the upper house will reject this bill, and then this bill will not have any impact. But I think the entire bill, it's because until this came out, Sree Iyer-ji, people were not even aware. In fact, none of us were aware that, there was a tax on the Hindu temples that is being levied by the Karnataka government. So thanks to this change, Siddaramaiah brought to the public notice. And because of that, because of this, I think this came to public notice, and then this has to be taken to the court to eventually get a relief for the temples. Yeah, this is a good statistics too.
Yes, indeed. And these numbers tell a story here. And again, whatever these things are, they are absolutely not bothered about governance. They are only bothered about coming to power again and again. In fact, one of the last interviews that Chaudhry Charan Singh gave was about Indira Gandhi and her always focus on elections, elections, and elections, because he was talking about how she created a monster. I mean, an entity that ended up being a monster, meaning Bhindranwala.
Yeah.
This whole thing was the creation of Indira Gandhi, and then once Sanjay Gandhi passed away, Rajiv Gandhi and 𝗤𝙜𝙤𝙤 Singh took over. 𝗤𝙜𝙤 Singh became the president. So it's just been messed up completely. And now, see, 40 years later, there is still something just wagging its tail. One can make the argument that yes, America is supporting them, Canada is supporting them. Well, why are we giving them an opportunity? We gave them the opportunity.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they wouldn't be supporting us, right? So let's move on, sir. One small question I have. Have you had a chance to look at this Supreme Court verdict on taking away the electoral bonds?
Yes, sir. I did have a look at that. I think we can talk about two. So the electoral bonds, when it was introduced also, some of my comments or some of my observation were the bonds generally are not issued by other than the central bank, right? It is
State Bank of India, yeah.
So it is a central bank, which is the RBI in our in India's context. So the electoral bond is equivalent to a currency. So that being issued by State Bank of India is where, that is the only area that I have a concern when this was introduced. But other than that, the Supreme Court judgment, when it is talking about, violating the fundamental right to information for the common public. In fact, I think, government will actually pass any amendment to this respective laws and then fill the gap, and then this will continue. Electoral bonds would continue. My humble opinion on the electoral bonds is this is one of the best way for political contributions, because number one, the moment someone, say for example, Tatas have certain funds that they use for their political contributions, and when they want to contribute to any of the parties, they do it without any bias. But there are a lot of pressure that goes on to them. Say for example, if they in the past there have been a lot of incidences that I'm talking about. When they give the political fund to Congress, the communists will go and do an agitation. They'll ask for a fund, and they'll actually do strikes in their factories or their offices, so that they get their political funds from Tatas too, because there were several cases that has happened. So to plug this gap, this electoral bonds is the best way to do it. And the best way to do is it is once again in white, which means the electoral bonds had to be bought by the corporates or individuals through a bank transfer, and then they can decide which party that they want to give it. So the party that is receiving the funds do not know XYZ paid me this month, this fund, whereas the books of accounts of these companies will reveal that they have bought electoral bonds. Say for example, I being a businessman buy electoral bonds for 100 crores, give 80 crores to BJP, 10 crores to Congress, and then 10 for say since I live in Tamil Nadu, the DMK government. Definitely, when I'm giving this, I expect some benefits back, or there is an ideological alignment that I do. So when one looks at my balance sheet, people will definitely know that I bought 100 crores worth of electoral bonds, and then one can corroborate to say that government of whether I gave 80 crores to BJP and 10 crores to Congress, nobody would know. I think that is the beauty of this electoral bonds. There is need to know basis. Even the parties need not know who paid them. And for the public, they know that this particular corporation paid so much of money towards electoral fund. I think that is the level of information, in my humble opinion, is sufficient. I think Supreme Court has gone beyond their reach. Sometimes the judicial reach is beyond their comprehension. And I think in this case, what the Supreme Court has given is the electoral bonds are illegal and unconstitutional. I think a constitutional amendment would be made, and then this will be reversed by the government. And also Supreme Court has said that within 4 weeks they need to SBI has to give all this information in public. I think that also will not happen, in my humble opinion, because by the time the release of this data to the Supreme Court comes, the election would be announced. And once the election is announced, both SBI will go to the court, and then Election Commission will go to the court, saying that this model code of conduct is in vogue, and then it is not advisable for disclosure at this point in time. And eventually, after the new government is formed, that is when all these data would come out. But before that, I think Modi government, when it comes to the third time, they will plug the gap with respect to the constitutional provisions also, and then with the retrospective effect. So in my opinion, I think electoral bonds are the right way to do. I think globally, when there are the lobbyists pay the money to the political fund or political parties, they do it in our election funds. They do it in this manner. Say, for example, you are very much aware that in the US, one buys a breakfast plate for $5,000, right? Hardly that would cost you $5 or $50, and then they buy the plate for $5,000, because there is a restriction by the US government that beyond certain point, one cannot donate to the political parties. So the political fund collection happens through dinner parties, breakfast congregations, and lunch parties, etc. I think, the transparency here is sufficient, in my humble opinion. The person who gives declares in their books of accounts that they have donated to the political party, and then this is black in white, which is within the accounted, and then which is disclosure happens. The political parties discloses that they have received their fund through electoral bonds. To that extent, there is a transparency available, and to that extent, public also knows that who has given, who has received. And SBI being the issuing authority is where my concern is, because the government of the day can definitely demand the SBI to disclose the details to them, especially the central government, and then they will know who has bought bonds and then who has given to me. They will be able to know exactly. But imagine if this electoral bonds are paid or given to political parties equally. So I buy for 100 crores, I give 10 crores to 10 different parties, right? If that happens over a period of time, I think this is the best way. I think, in my opinion, sir, the Supreme Court actually, through its verdict declaring it as unconstitutional, is probably to be reviewed. I think Supreme Court on its own or through a review petition, either it will review it, or the government, when it comes to power again, they will plug this through a constitutional amendment. I think that is my opinion about the electoral bond verdict.
Thank you, sir. And now let's take a look at what is happening in Tamil Nadu coalition formations. BJP has been playing its cards very close to its chest. Who is in, who's out, and are people going to be carting along with the ADMK party? So, Sriramji, when this happens, when the two parties are together and now they have gone their own ways, clearly the coalition partners are going to feel like this or that, this or that. Where do you think people stand? Like, for example, Pattali Makkal Katchi or Dr. Krishnaswamy's Katchi, small groups here and there that are powerful in pockets.
Yeah. Sir, I think this is a good question, and also the situation is too fluid for anybody to predict. But, one thing is very, very clear. ADMK claimed that NDA was formed in Tamil Nadu only because of ADMK and not because of BJP. They said that ADMK is the glue that connected that 5-6 parties put together, DMDK, PMK, and BJP together and other smaller parties together. But that myth is resolved. That myth is, broken. With ADMK is also not getting the, concurrence with PMK, Paatali Makkal Katchi, or DMDK or any. So far, ADMK announced, even when BJP was in alliance with them before breaking their ties with BJP, Edappadi said that they will form a mega alliance, because the mega alliance, what he was talking about, DMK already has a mega alliance in Tamil Nadu. And if you want to form a larger alliance, which means anything other than whoever is in the DMK alliance should form a part of ADMK alliance. But no such move happened. Say, for example, Naam Tamil Katchi, they always felt that they are going to be alone. They'll contest the elections alone. And no effort was made at that point in time by Edappadi to form this mega alliance. And of course, Annamalai played that card very well. Annamalai ensured that, BJP should not be riding on any other party's shoulder in Tamil Nadu anymore, and wanted to prove a point to the Tamil Nadu public, Tamil Nadu political system, and even to his central leadership, that BJP on its own can cross 10, 12, 15% mark. So, in fact, somewhere in 2021, when these talks were happening, and when I think Annamalai was riding with Modi, I think from Dindigul to Madurai, he went in his car. So there are a lot of discussions that time would have happened. Just before that event, when I was talking to Annamalai, and then, in fact, I was some proponent of BJP should be breaking their ties with ADMK and then test its waters in Tamil Nadu in 2024, because it's a risk-free election. This was my concept of, why BJP should contest alone or form an alliance at its leadership, because 2024 has always been a risk-free election for Tamil Nadu is concerned, because Modi government will come to power in center. Whatever may be the seats that they have targets, Tamil Nadu, even if it contributes zero, they are going to come to power. 2014, Tamil Nadu contributed 2 seats to the NDA, and 2019, 0 seats. But, BJP government increased its tally from 282 to 303. So 2024 also BJP is going to form the government, maybe slightly more than the mandate that they had in 2019. I was at that point in time calculating 331 seats for BJP alone in 2024 general election. And so I was telling Mr. Annamalai that, it's a risk-free election, and then BJP should test its waters and then find what is their strength in Tamil Nadu. In fact, that point in time, I was alluding to him, and then asked him what success means to BJP. Because success means at a different point in time, different, has different meanings. Getting a 1 or 2 MP seats, is it success? Or getting a 10 to 12% vote share is a success? So one needs to decide what success means. And then, after his meeting in Dindigul to Madurai, after a month or so, I, along with other friends, some of our friends like JVC, Kolagala, Srinivas, and all, when we met, that point in time, again, I asked this question: did you have an opportunity to know what success means? He said, that is what, I'm reiterating with the central leadership. But my mandate that was given to him at that point in was grow the party, and then we will make a decision. I think Annamalai strategized that what he wanted to do in 2024, not just 3 months, 6 months before, but he did that in 2021, and immediately after the assembly elections, when he took over as the president itself. He had a clear strategy in mind. He was not revealing it to many people. He was revealing it to bits and pieces to journalists or analysts like me. And then he was just just testing the waters. He was just bouncing an idea and then using as a punching bag to say that, okay, how is it reacting? And, getting the feedback. But in his opinion, he had clearly had a strategy for how BJP in Tamil Nadu will be grown. And I think that is where he is marching towards. But when you see the events that are happening, I think the BJP previously, if you had observed in 2014 or 2020, especially 2019 and 2021 elections and assembly elections in Tamil Nadu, BJP expressed a desperateness to be in an alliance. For example, in 2019, for 5 seats, PMK got more seats than BJP. And for 5 seats, I very well remember 𝗤𝙗𝘅 𝗠𝙗 had to travel at least 7-8 times before the decision was made. And at the neck of the moment. And for 2021, again for 20 seats, they have to make too many compromises to get the 20 seats in Tamil Nadu. Excuse me. But if you look at 2024, Annamalai is not desperate, not showing any desperateness. I think that is the strength that Annamalai is trying to build. So coming back to your question, what will happen? My opinion, I think PMK will stay with NDA. They will not go to ADMK side. They will stay with NDA. DMDK for sure will stay with NDA. And Pudhiya Tamizhagam, Dr. Krishnaswamy, he's still in a dilemma because in 𝗤𝙗𝘀𝘆, he wanted 𝗤𝙗𝘆 as his constituency. Most probably, BJP will want to retain the 𝗤𝙗𝘆 constituency for themselves. So because of that, Dr. Krishnaswamy will tilt towards, Edappadi. But John Pandian will compensate that. John Pandian has an equally Dalit leader and then has, especially in the Madurai to Tirunelveli area and all, he has a big popularity. He would stay with BJP, so he would compensate that. A.C. Shanmugam's party, and these are all small parties. And for sure, TTV Dinagaran and Shashikala, OPS will remain with NDA because they have nowhere they'll compromise with Edappadi Palaniswamy. So what happens in this equation? ADMK expected that if they broke away from BJP, Congress would come to them, and because of the DMK alliance is broken, Congress would come to them, 𝗣𝗖𝘂 would come to them, maybe one of the communists will also come along. So they thought that they will form this alliance, and then that would have been nice too, because there is an anti-incumbency factor against DMK. After 2021, they came to power. There's an anger among public. So how one channelizes that anger against the DMK government? I think that is where BJP is succeeding. Especially the southern Tamil Nadu, BJP will be scoring significantly. Delta and southern Tamil Nadu, even in the Kongu regions, BJP will gain significantly in those constituencies. The anger against the DMK government, instead of channelizing to ADMK, it will get channelized to the BJP there. Somewhere in the northern Tamil Nadu, I think the DMK is still popular. There are some amount of the public are not convinced about or public have anger against the DMK government, but not to the extent of the southern Tamil Nadu or the Kongu region. So that DMK would retain. Now, a lot of people are talking about South Chennai as a constituency that, too many, I think 20 to 21 people from BJP are aiming to get the seat of South Chennai. And some of the leaders already, like 𝙒𝙬 Surya and all, started working in that constituency very much. But in my opinion, I see that, in South Chennai, probably, BJP will have increase their vote share. But I don't see a possibility of them winning because South Chennai traditionally had been with the DMK, especially with T.R. Balu contesting from there. I think he will have. I think not T.R. Balu, sir. South Chennai. I forgot who's MP. Let me remember. But South Chennai had always been a bastion of DMK. And I don't think that has changed significantly yet. Even with the mismanagement of the flood and other stuff, I don't think South Chennai will tilt towards away from DMK and go to either ADMK combine or to BJP combine. But in my opinion, South Chennai will have a significant amount of vote share increase for BJP. I think that is what they can aim for. Kanyakumari, if Pon Radhakrishnan contests, definitely there is going to be a challenge. Even BJP themselves don't want. There are a couple of leaders who are emerging there. There is a minority population, minority Morcha state vice president. I think his name is Satish Kumar or Sendil Kumar, I don't know. Satish Raja. Satish Raja is aiming to contest from Kanyakumari area. In fact, this was one of the concepts that I mooted out with some of the Sangh Parivar leaders and with BJP, that in Kanyakumari has been a Hindutva belt and very strong Hindutva vote share that we have in Kanyakumari, but also equally Christian community population who are against BJP in Kanyakumari district or Kanyakumari constituency. If the Hindutva organizations are convinced that they can bring in a mixture of the Christian and the Nadar community, because in the Nadar community, the marriages are very common between the Christian Nadar and the Hindu Nadar. It's very, very common. If one can bring such candidate, it will have a repercussion across Tamil Nadu, especially with the Catholic Christian population, Catholic minority populations. There is a talk about 𝗣𝗚𝘅𝗍𝗍 joining BJP. There were news items that were coming in. This is one of the, development. If it happens, I think 𝗣𝗚𝘅𝗍𝗍 has a significant amount of this combination of, being from a Nambudri family from her maternal side, and then from a Nadar family from paternal side, husband being a Nadar Christian, her son married to a 𝗍𝗏𝗍 community leader. So she has a combination, caste combination. This was what, if you remember, Sree Iyer ji, we talked about social engineering in Tamil Nadu. I think, BJP has to find these candidates in every constituency that will actually have the caste equation and then bring together the, social engineering amounts of caste. Because what Karunanidhi has done over a period of last several decades is to contest the election only based on caste population or religious card. But though he says that, equality and all those DMK, whatever they say, beyond that, they have actually contested the elections only based on the caste equations. I think that is the one that, BJP has to target. Each one of the constituencies, they need to go and break this, the caste equation that has been created. So in my opinion, the coalition is going to be ADMK at a weak spot. DMK alliance will stay stronger. Maybe the seat sharing times, there may be some rumblings that may happen. But BJP will have the second better combination. And at least at this point in time, the southern districts, the third and fourth position fight is between Nam Tamizhar and ADMK. And many places, BJP will either have an edge to win or at least come second. In Kongu region, once again, it's a tough fight between the BJP, ADMK and DMK. Most of the places, once again, except some of the areas like Coimbatore or, Salem, that area, ADMK will come third, right? The northern Tamil Nadu, I think, it is a fight between DMK and ADMK predominantly. And BJP, even with the PMK alliance, may not be there in that fight to become the second position, leave alone winning the position. I think this is my assessment, Sree Iyer ji, at this point in time for Tamil Nadu BJP. When Modi is visiting on the 27th, we can expect some of these announcements that would come up. In fact, I have been suggesting to central leadership and to many people, even in social media, that BJP should have already, released the candidate list, at least the probable places where they wanted to contest. They should have released their candidate list by now to make this, alliance possible, or to maintain that, the alliance will be formed under the leadership of BJP. I think KP Ramalingam, who came out and then said in public, there are two conflicting opinions from the leadership comes. Then in a interview to a private channel says that ADMK and BJP cadres want the alliance. And thankfully, the next day, another leader came out and then said, any alliance will be formed under the leadership of BJP. Whoever wants to come and join can join. There is a difference, but still the ADMK card is still open. I always call this 𝗣𝗬𝗿 𝗢𝙧𝙤𝘀, people who have the Dravidian party leaning within BJP, still wants to have this alliance happen. I think that would be a disaster. It's just not that 2024 Sree Iyer ji and the viewers that BJP should stand alone or form an alliance on its own, at least for next 2 to 3 elections. That is when the progress would happen. Otherwise, you just flip-flop. One election you are in alliance, another election you are fighting on your own. BJP will not grow at all. So the long-term strategy that Tamil Nadu BJP that is going, at least Annamalai has devised, is at least next 2 to 3 elections that BJP will be on its own or form an alliance under its leadership. I think that is the best strategy in my opinion. And, by 27th, probably we may have another conversation next week as to what happens. There are going to be several tall leaders from different parties planning to join BJP in Palladam. The list is still kept secret. List has not been released, but there are going to be some shaking in the Tamil Nadu politics. That's what I hear. Alliances may be announced during that visit, saying that, at least few parties who are willing to ally with BJP. So far, ADMK has been able to garner only SDPI and 𝗤𝗫 𝗍𝗫. Rest, nobody has committed to ADMK. I think that is what the problem for ADMK and the frustration for ADMK is building a day by day. I think that's the situation and assessment as of now, from me.
Thank you so much, Sriram ji. And let's take a few questions, sir. We have quite a few. Let's see if we can work through 5 or 6 of them. Go ahead, please. Magnet Ranga wants to know, Jai Shri Ram, can Congress afford to be so blatantly anti-Hindu? The present proposal of Karnataka isn't just about money. It also allows non-Hindus to manage temples.
Yes, Magnet Ranga, I think Congress in Karnataka thinks that the Hindutva card is not going to work anymore. I think that they tasted that success in their election, last year, that they could beat BJP very easily. But I don't think with that 5 guarantees going for a toss, they should not be going anti-Hindu. But imagine Siddharamaiah had always been anti-Hindu whenever he was in power. So he continues to do that. Congress, Rahul Gandhi and Congress in general at their leadership level has always been anti-Hindu policies that they bring in. So they probably will know the result that, this is going to backfire on them in 2024. But at this point in time, Karnataka Congress thinks that, these the Hindutva card or the is not going to play in favor of BJP anymore. I think that is their thinking, which will eventually fail.
Next one, please. Vignesh Prabhu wants to know, Karnataka BJP leadership is weak. They fight only in X rather than challenging in High Court or defeating in upper house as BJP holds majority.
Vignesh Prabhu, I think Karnataka leadership is not weak at this point in time. With Yediyurappa's son coming to as a BJP leader, I think they have actually fixed the problem that they created for themselves in 2023 elections, right? Otherwise, whatever BJP was, they actually went and displaced Yediyurappa. So the population, the Lingayat community were discontent with that decision. Even though 𝗏𝗼𝗫 became from the same community, became the chief minister, they became very discontent. The Okkaliga communities should have been garnered to BJP, but they never did that. They stood with Congress. What happened during the election? The Lingayat community, lock, stock and barrel, most of them went to Congress in protest against BJP. I think that is where the challenge came for BJP in Karnataka. Now they fixed that problem, and because of that, I don't see this as a major issue. But yes, they should have gone to the court. They should have made sure on the upper house. Let's see what they do. But eventually, BJP's political narratives in some states are definitely under question. I think the central leadership need to pay attention towards it for sure.
Vignesh Prabhu again, with regard to political funding, 100% exemption was very bad and struck down by Supreme Court. Earlier, it was 8% of the net profit of the company.
See, the political funding of 100% exemption. See, in my opinion, there is a limit to which anybody can contribute. But with the electoral bonds coming into play, that exemption given as an expense write-off, it's not an exemption, it's an expense write-off from one's books. I think that is valid in my opinion. And there are going to be issues about the political funding happening for a favor or a quid pro quo. All these allegations would keep coming. But one has to compare the last 20, 30 years data before electoral bonds and after electoral bonds. The government of the day always got the donations. Government of the day always got the money. But we are all forgetting one thing. Do you think that BJP has got only 5,000, 6,000 crores as donations, and then no other money had come to BJP's coffers? Same with any other party, Congress, DMK, ADMK. So the money that is beyond the electoral, what comes into both the parties' books is only we are worried about. What happens outside this books of accounts of both the party as well as the companies that are donating, I think that is where the concern should be. And then this is a very small municipal part of the money, in my opinion. But exemption is not wrong. But whatever the Supreme Court's decision will be overruled by amendment to the act or even constitutional amendment when the government comes to power.
I'm sorry about that. Aditya Prakash wants to know, Jai Sriram, sir, regarding Karnataka, one more nuance was the amendment was made more general so that the funds from temples can be funneled into non-Hindu institutions by the usage of general language.
See, there's no detail that has been given by any government what they collect and then what they spend. Even for the Jizya tax that we are talking about, Karnataka government levying on the Hindu temples, in the past nobody had asked for this account. So in my opinion, I think this is the opportunity that BJP, even though hypocritically raised this, I think the public should keep asking these questions. Okay, now that you have collected X number of crores, how did you spend this money on the purposes, the fund that you are talking about? Please provide a white paper. I think that is where the RTIs will now start kicking in. Until such time, nobody has even been aware of such a tax that existed. I think it's a good news that we all are aware that there is the tax structure that exists now. I think the next step would be for the common public and activists to go to file an RTI to find out how this money is being spent. I'm sure 100%, I'm sure this money that is collected for the intended purpose is not spent. So it fills the coffer and indirectly goes to, whatever they use for, but it could be non-Hindu institutions or it could be for any other purposes, but it is not used for the purposes that money is being collected. I think that is the fundamental thing that we all need to remember. And then that is where, our focus should be, rather than trying to find out, whether it was funded for something else or not. I think that is my humble opinion, Aditya.
Thank you, sir. Let's go to the next question. Rohit Akshay wants to know, Jai Sriram, Sunil Kanugolu has predicted a 59% vote share for BJP in South. Can we expect 7 to 9 seats for BJP in Telangana and at least 15 from Tamil Nadu?
See, 7 to 9 in Telangana, Rohit, may be possible. I think that is what the current data that shows that, it is going to be fight between Congress and, BJP. the BRS stronghold areas, even the cadres are shifting towards BJP. So which means there is a possibility. Already they won 4 last time, and then 7 easily possible. 9 may be a stretch, but 7 to 9 definitely is possible in Telangana. Tamil Nadu, I still hold that 3, max 5. 3 is what my expectation. That itself is significantly high on my, because we all need to know how the alliance is being formed. If the Congress and the DMK alliance breaks, then I will change my numbers to 8. But otherwise, at this point in time, 3 is what the max I'm looking at, maybe 5. But that is where my number looks at this point in time.
Thank you so much, Sriramji. And viewers, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. Namaskar.
Namaskar.
Thank you.